Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out here for you. We're going to be talking about NATO in this video, and I've got a very wild report that some top senior officials from NATO are warning that NATO may invoke Article 5 over Russian hybrid operations if requested. Now, I know this might sound very crazy, so just give me a moment to explain this to you. We're going to go over this information to share this with you to explain exactly what they mean here. But I put on the screen for you, Western intelligence officials have reportedly warned about increasing Russian sabotage operations across Europe. Okay, so apparently Western intelligence officials are worried that the Russians may create some sort of sabotage operation at maybe US military bases in Europe, maybe to destabilize Europe. Now, I know this might sound very crazy, and some people might be thinking, well, this is Western propaganda or whatever it might be. And maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. We never really know, right? But what I will say is take from what you can from this video, what I share with you. Take with it what you want, throw away the rest, and just look at this for a moment. It also says here on the screen, such a threat led to heightened security at U.S. military bases in Europe. So let me show you this. I did a video on this article on July 1st, okay? That's when this came out, so 9 days ago. Today's July 10th, 2024. It says here on CNN, several U.S. military bases in Europe on heightened alert amid possible terrorist threat. Okay, so whenever I originally did this video report, I let all of you know that what it says here is a possible terrorist threat. Okay, it doesn't say anything about Russian hybrid warfare, operations, sabotage, anything like that. It just says possible terrorist threat. And all of this was around the same time that things were really ramping up between Hezbollah and Israel. Okay, I was covering lots of Hezbollah and Israel topics during that time. The war in Ukraine was relatively quiet, and there was lots of stuff coming out from Hezbollah and Israel. So when they said terrorist threat, it made me think that maybe it's going to be something about the Middle East. Well, no, apparently, according to this, the reason why that there was this heightened alert with U.S. military bases is possibly because of these threats of Russian sabotage operations in Europe. So this has nothing to do with any type of, like, I guess it could be considered a terrorist threat, right? But clearly that's what they're kind of indicating here. So I've got some information that I want to go over here with you and just kind of share it with you. And again, if you don't want to take all the information, that's fine. Take from it what I give you. Take certain bits and pieces of it. Keep it. If you don't want the rest of it, throw it out, okay? So let me show you this here from the Kiev Independent. NATO may invoke Article 5 over Russian hybrid operations in Europe if requested, official tells VOA, which is Voice of America. And it says here, any NATO country could theoretically request protection under the alliance's Article 5 on mutual defense due to Russian hybrid operations, the Voice of America reported on July 10th, citing an unnamed senior alliance official. NATO's Article 5 commits each member state to consider an attack against one member state to be an attack against them all. When asked what NATO's response to Moscow's hybrid operations and attempts to destabilize Europe might be, the official said that it all depends on what actions Russia continues to take. Okay, so they're saying it depends on what Russia chooses to do. So they're setting the playing field here up for Russia to commit some sort of attack inside of Europe, whether that is Russia's goal to do this or not. This is obviously a risk and something that NATO is worried about happening inside of Europe. And this just goes to show, the reason why I'm really showing you this is how dangerous this is all really coming to, okay? This whole war in Ukraine, I've been telling all of you this from the very beginning, okay? Ever since I started this YouTube channel back in January of this year, I've been telling everybody that the important war that's been going on is Ukraine. It's not about Israel. It's not about what's happening with North Korea or anything else really that I report. The major war that's going on here is Ukraine. And we can see that both sides are heavily involved in this, okay? The West is so involved in Ukraine. They're becoming more and more involved, and I'm going to show you more information that shows that too, in Ukraine, okay? And then Russia is going all in, okay? I'm going to show you information as well that shows that too. Russia is going all in on this war. Then we've got these reports from Viktor Orban recently. I know I keep bringing this up, but it's very important, and it could be very key to what's going to happen here in the next few months. is he's coming out recently, the Hungarian prime minister, stating that this war between Ukraine and Russia is going to become more brutal over the next 3 months than it ever was before. Okay. And we're starting to see that right now. We're starting to see all these warning signs coming out, all these big events taking place, lots of major escalation. Okay. I'm reporting this all the time. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, subscribe to my channel and follow me. So that way you can get my daily reports that I put on this information all the time. So it says here, at this time, no NATO member state has made the request. The VOA's source said on the sidelines of the Alliance's summit in Washington, Western intelligence officials have reportedly warned about increasing Russian sabotage operations across Europe. Such a threat led to heightened security at U.S. military bases in Europe, CNN reported in early July, citing unnamed sources. Over the past 6 months, Polish authorities have arrested 18 people on suspicions of pursuing hostile activities or sabotage in collaboration with Russia or Belarus, according to the Polish Interior Ministry. Several other suspects have been arrested over the past year in Germany, Austria, Denmark, Estonia, and other countries for allegedly spying for Russia or other forms of collaboration with Russian intelligence. So, what's being reported here too is that there's lots of people being arrested in multiple European countries accused of spying for Russia or having some sort of affiliation with Russia or Russian intelligence. So clearly NATO is worried about this, right? They're worried about a major attack inside of Europe that could be because of Russia, okay? It could be some sort of Russian sabotage event, okay, is what they are stating, okay? I'm just giving you the information that they are saying. So they're stating here that they could invoke Article 5 if some sort of event happens in their country. What if this happens to turn out where something bad happens in a European country that turns out to be a NATO member, and then all of a sudden some sort of major, let's say, terrorist attack happens, and then they find out or they're able to prove some sort of information that ties back to Russia, and they say we were attacked by Russia. Now this drags NATO into the conflict. Now NATO invokes Article 5, and then here we go. It's World War III. Okay, it's now war between NATO and Russia. Now, I know that might sound crazy again, but we never know what can happen here. Obviously, what we are all seeing and what I report to you, all of you, every single day, is major escalation in this war. This is not warmongering. It's not fear-mongering. It's actual stuff that's happening in these wars and escalation that's taking place right now as we speak. So I want to be showing you here a couple other things real quick before I let you guys go today. I've got 2 things here on X that I want to share with you. So let me go into these as well. Okay, these are also regarding the war in Ukraine. So we're going to be talking about Dmitry Medvedev here. He is the deputy chairman of the National Security Council. This is him right here in the photo for you. So many of you probably heard me talk about him. So he's come out with a statement towards Ukraine. So look at this from Anton Gerashenko. Medvedev once more confirmed that Russia's ultimate goal is destroying Ukraine completely. Should it succeed, Russia won't stop here. Ukrainian victory is a prerequisite of geopolitical security in the region. Translation of an excerpt from Medvedev's Telegram post. And this is what Medvedev supposedly said on Telegram. A moderate political regime will emerge on the ruins of the preserved part of former Ukraine. But even this will not be the end of Russia's military operation. Even after signing the papers and accepting defeat, the remaining radicals will sooner or later return to power after regrouping their forces, inspired by Russia's Western enemies, and then it will be time to finally crush the scum, to drive a long steel nail into the coffin lid of the Banderite quasi-state, destroy the remnants of its bloody legacy, and return the remaining lands to the bosom of the Russian land. But Russia's enemies will not go anywhere after that. They will be gathering strength and waiting for a new convenient excuse to destroy our country. We must be ready for future battles to defend the fatherland. Okay, so he's talking about here that they need to finish off Ukraine, and then when they finish off Ukraine, that's not going to be it for NATO. NATO's still going to look for an excuse, according to him, to go to war and destroy Russia, okay? And there's so many statements coming out from multiple Western leaders saying this, that Russia needs to be destroyed, they need to be stopped, okay, that Ukraine cannot lose this war. The reason why I'm showing you this is I want you to understand how invested both sides are, okay? Russia is going all in. Their major goal at the end of the day, I think most people know this, is to destroy Ukraine and bring Ukraine back to the homeland, which is what he's stating here as well. And then the West does not want to lose Ukraine. Okay, they don't want Ukraine to fall because they don't want Russia on their doorstep. Whatever. Okay, we know the threats from the Western side as well. So both sides are heavily involved, and even NATO's come out many times said they need to support Ukraine to the very end. Okay, so major escalation on both sides. And again, I want you to understand how heavily invested the West is and Russia is, including many other countries backing Russia as well, are involved in this war. Okay, so it's very dangerous, and that's why I'm sharing this whole article when it comes to NATO and Article 5 and all that, is that this could very well happen. Okay, and clearly both sides are itching to go to war with each other, and it could very well happen. So that's why I wanted to share that. Finally, I want to show you this too. Okay, this shows more escalation with the West involving in this war in Ukraine, and how we're getting closer to World War III with Russia as well. From Megatron Ron breaking, NATO is escalating the war with Russia. Blinken says that they will have an incredibly strong package that will be revealed within the next 2 days to Ukraine. He stated that the F-16 jets are on their way to Ukraine. I talked about that this morning in this morning's video. If you want to go check it out, hop on over to my page and go and watch it. But this is news right here, okay? Blinken stating that there's an incredibly strong package that will be revealed within the next 2 days to Ukraine. So we know that today and tomorrow are the last 2 days of the NATO summit. So we'll probably hear this maybe by tomorrow, maybe by Friday. We'll have to see what this incredibly strong, quote unquote, incredibly strong package is going to be. That's very big news. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has given Ukraine permission to strike its missiles deep in Russian territory. We did a video on that as well. More escalation, right? Zelensky and Polish Prime Minister Tusk announced the inclusion of Poland in the war with the targeting of Russian missiles directly from Polish territory. Polish General Władysław Kukula announced that Poland is preparing the army for war. Okay, that's a huge development too. I did not know this, to be honest with you. I had no idea they were preparing their army for war. I'm going to go research that and see if I can find information on that. And if I do, I'll do a separate video on that. But regarding this, okay, Poland and Ukraine working together to start shooting down Russian missiles. I talked about that in just the last day or two. Okay, I did a whole video on this as well. That Zelensky signed a major military agreement with Poland, and Poland is going to start shooting down Russian missiles that get near their country. Okay, if they end up on the western side of Ukraine, Poland's going to help shoot them down. Okay, so that's major escalation as well. And finally, Norway will transfer 6 F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. So I did that. I talked about that in today's video as well, with this whole news that NATO's announcing that they're going to be sending F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine as we speak right now. Okay, I talked about that in this morning's video as well. So lots of major developments going on here with this war in Ukraine, and it's just continuing to escalate every single day, and that's why I want to share this information with you. So again, if you don't want to take all of it, that's fine. You can throw away what you don't want and keep what you want that you think is important to understand. But the reason why I do these updates is to keep all of you informed, regardless of the information. I've said this many times. I don't stand for either side. I don't stand for NATO, and I don't stand for Russia. I'm right in the middle to try my best to report both sides of it and share the information that's coming from both sides, whether you want to call it Western or Russian propaganda, whatever you want to call it. Again, I just bring you the information, and you take with it what you want, and you throw away the rest, okay? It's completely up to you how you want to use it. But what we see at the end of the day here from what I'm reporting is major escalation in this war, and it's getting closer and closer to an inevitable clash between NATO and Russia. That's just my assessment here, but you let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update today, though. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, I hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.